Howdy, howdy, howdy. Let's get into this trade recap. All right, first I gotta apologize. I have been slacking with the uploads. I have made all the videos. I just have been getting real lazy and not uploading them. So you're gonna get three freaking videos today. So that's cool. But anyway, let's go over today's trade. Turn this on so I can know. Okay, yeah, okay. So, what did we go off of? What happened? What were our confluences that went that let us trade today? So first off, we took a trade on ES. We took a long. We hit take profit today for about $444, I believe. We actually took true trades today. The first one was only about $300, and then the next one was about 150, if or maybe like 145 or something like that. But yeah, so let's go over what we saw. So first off, I saw that ES was the more bullish index. With what was it? These highs? Yes. So we had an SMT at these lows here. A little bit of an SMT ski here. So I noticed that ES was the more bullish index. I saw price. This was my original liquidity sweep area. This is the first, this is what I was hoping we were going to get a liquidity sweep off of. But I saw that price kept coming down. This was a really strong bearish candle to the downside. So I thought that we might hit these pre-market lows here. But we didn't. We ended up delivering. And so I took this trade on ES, but I like to wait for 5 minute inverses, and on ES, there was no fair value gap. So what I did is I went on to ES and I waited for this candle close. Or I went on NQ and I waited for this candle close to inverse this fair value gap. Once that happened, and it happened, I went on ES. I took longs. G right around here. My stop loss was all the way down here at these lows, and my take profit was here. Now, this is a really bad take profit. This is like, this is, kind of getting late on the move. But I really thought we could have gotten a reversal at these London highs just because it was not even 10 o'clock by the time that we took profits. So I thought that we could get the reversal around 10 o'clock, right after that manipulation time frame. That didn't end up happening though. We kept on going up and up and up and up. So what I did is I waited for a retest of this level. We broke structure above these highs, and then I was thinking about going in here, but we just kept chopping around and we kept chopping around. And I told myself, okay, my bias is still bullish, and I definitely think that there are still some areas of like where we could hit, like these Asian highs, these New York AM highs. So I was like, okay, if we get some volatility to the upside, then I'll go in. I will say that that is not the greatest way to trade. I definitely should have just held on to my profits. Um, After the 5 minute on NQ, so it was like around here. After that 5 minute close, like around here. Yeah, that's about where it was actually exactly. So I definitely thought that like once we started coming down here, I thought we were gonna go down. So I was like, okay, there's definitely another opportunity to trade here. My bias is still bullish just because of how much we've been delivering to the upside. Um, and I saw this retest at this level. I saw us come up really strong, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna enter if this next candle is continuing this trend. It didn't end up doing that. It ended up chopping around. I watched the charts for a little bit, and I was like, okay, we'll just let it go. Just let it keep. Let's see if we can find another opportunity. I was honestly waiting for a short around here, but we never did that. We just kept chopping around, and I was telling myself like, okay, if we break structure on the 5 minute, then I can go in. And we didn't do that, not once in this entire sort of accumulation. I wouldn't consider this accumulation just because this is definitely a clear uptrend, but it's choppy. It's choppy for sure. It's sloppy for sure. I wouldn't have wanted to long at this point in time. It's part of my rules that I don't take multiple trades a day, but I definitely saw an opportunity to trade again. After we broke structure and this candle closed, I was like, okay, we can go in. I set another long here, stops here. As soon as this candle closed, we went in with profits at these highs. We only did about like 2 units on this one, and we only made about $150. But definitely it was great. It was definitely I think we did very well today. Oh, this is my short position, but yeah, I have the red highlighted area as my take profit area. But yeah, we had another one here at these Asian highs. Yeah, and those were the trades for today. Something that I'd like to get into though. Something that, there's two very big things that I want to talk about today, and it's the what I did good and what I could do better. First thing that I did very well is I think I've gotten a good strategy. I mean, there's definitely some room for improvements, definitely room to refine, but I think I've gotten the strategy. My strategy is the day before, create a condition. And yesterday or last night, I created this condition of this fair value gap. But right before I created this condition on the 4-hour, I was looking at this candle. And I was like, okay, I think this was right after Trump tweeted about something. So I was like, okay, we're probably going to deliver a little bit lower, get a nice retracement here. So this 4-hour fair value gap was my condition. Once I woke up, I saw that we had tapped into it. And I think on NQ, yeah, so like on NQ, we just barely tapped it. And when I woke up, it was at this candle. Or no, was it? It was like this candle. And we had delivered higher. We had barely tapped into this fair value gap. So I was like, okay, I bet you we're going to go long today. We ended up doing that. We ended up going long. So that's the first step of the strategy is to identify our bias. And that's part one of step one is identifying the condition. The other part is to identify the trend. Obviously, we're in an uptrend here. On like the major time frames, we're in a downtrend, but like I've noticed that like, I'm a day trader, dude. I only trade for like an hour out of the day. I should be taking this leg right here. Like what's our narrative telling us? We know that a couple of days ago we swept liquidity here and we've delivered higher. We've passed through fair value gaps. We are coming down, but this could just be a retrace. So that was my bias for the day. It was bullish. But and to confirm that bias, the condition was this 4-hour fair value gap. Both of those things were met, both of those things were confirmed. So we could go into the next step. The next step is to identify a liquidity sweep. I don't really care for SMTs. They're not, I really just use them to identify which index I should be trading on. I don't really gravitate to either ES or NQ. I really just take whichever one's giving me the better setup. And that's how I can identify that is with an SMT. So the next step to this trading strategy that happens during the actual market open is first to identify our liquidity, identify where price would be wanting to draw to. Once we've identified that, and when you do that, you got to identify it on both sides. Like I noticed that, okay, we have London highs and Asian highs that haven't been tapped yet that probably price would really like to sweep. We also have all of this liquidity down here. However, we would have to pass through this 4-hour fair value gap, and it's pretty extended. All this liquidity is much farther away from these areas of liquidity here. So it was like my bias is bullish. We're first off respecting the condition. We're second off, we are in an uptrend. Next off, we have draws on liquidity to the upside that are much more juicy than the draws on liquidity to the downside. So it's like, okay, I'm pretty bullish today. The next is during the actual session, identify a liquidity sweep. Once we've identified a high level A+ liquidity sweep, then we go into the 5-minute. The 5 minute, I love the 5 minute. The 5 minute tells me everything that I need to know about what direction we're going to go into today. I like to get my trades in a little bit before 10, but I've really noticed that like right at the end, I mean, this is not something that I'm going to like have my strategy like actually banking on, but I've noticed that right at the end of market, like the last 30 minutes, the last 10 minutes, the last little leg of the market, it'll either run in the opposite direction or it'll continue the trend. But whatever it is, it does it with high volatility. So like I like to get my um trades in around 10 before 10 o'clock. That I feel like is the best time to do it. But as in recent times, there has been opportunities to trade after like 10:30. Um anyway, yeah, so once we've identified the liquidity sweep, then we wait for a high high probability for value gap to be inverse, and I see that on the 5 minute just is really good high probability that that's what's going to show us the trend. However, I'd like to say, and something that really like really is really helping me out. I when we inverse a fair value gap. Okay, so like this was a 3 minute fair value gap here. When we inverse a fair value gap, like right here, like I said, I was trying to wait for a short to get in on a second trade. When we inverse a fair value gap, I like to see that the next candle is maintaining that volatility and is going to likely break structure again after this. I guess you wouldn't consider that break structure. I'd like to see this candle close below this wick. I like to see the momentum being carried through the trade, right? And that's what happened here. You know, we didn't get the momentum straight after, or maybe it's on the 1 minute. Yeah, we do have that momentum. So like it looks like on the 5 minute. Yeah, so this is great. So like we inverse this 5 minute and then this next candle, it continues that volatility. I'm not saying that I have to wait for the close on this one, but if I notice that we've just inversed a fair value gap and now price is really running, okay, that's a good that's when we enter. But like off this 3 minute, we didn't do that. We came down, we inversed the 3 minute, and we didn't get that volatility to the downside. We actually came up back into this fair value gap. When I see that, I don't like to trade that. So that was something that we did good. We've kind of like we're starting to really lock in on this strategy, which is great, which is so A plus. Now I'd like to get into the thing that I need to do better. I need to start working on closing that profit gap. Today, when I took this long, on ES, after we inverse the 5, right? Oh my gosh, this is just, hold the freak up. I need to clean up this. What now? Oh my gosh, just remove everything. Just remove everything. Okay, so we need to close the profit gap. I think that like the way that I'd want to close the profit gap is to partially close my position, but unfortunately, I can't do that on Tradevate and Tradeify through TradingView. I'm not exactly sure if I can do it on Tradevate's um trading like software, but I don't know if you've ever seen that stuff. I feel like it just looks like an engine cockpit and it looks gross and I don't like trading on it. And you know what? Sue me for it. I don't care. I like having nice clean charts, and Trading View is absolutely beautiful at doing that. Plus, I spent the most time on this app. I know exactly what it looks like. I know what I'm looking for. I know where all these things are. I know where, I've set everything up to be customized. I've got my indexes here. I've got my, you know, all that stuff. But how we can close a profit gap is I think we need to start hitting one-to-ones. I think that like, you know, it's it's hard because like I don't want to have a soft take profit. I want I want like a good take profit for sure. I think that like I don't know. I don't know. I really like this is something that I'm going to have to work on for sure. Is closing that profit gap. I think I've gotten good on my strategy here. There's definitely, like I said, room to improve, and I'm going to keep working on it, keep refining it, not really changing it, not adding another confluence, but just like figuring out what's the most probable A plus liquidity sweep. What's the most probable um inverse for value gap? But it's like also I'm not saying that as I'm only once I figure that out, I'm only going to be taking those absolute A plus setups. There's a little bit of discretion there, and that's also part of the refining of the whole thing is adding discretion, figuring out what's A plus, you know, refining it even more. But those three steps are those couple of steps, creating the condition, finding the trend, seeing the liquidity sweep, and inversing a fair value gap. That is what, I I think is a really good strategy. And you know what is probably what 99% of every other strategy on the internet is. It's just that some people have refined it to make it work for them specifically even better. And that's what I've got to do for me. I've got to figure out how to refine the model. It's not I wouldn't even consider it like PB strategy. I wouldn't consider it dodgy strategy. I wouldn't consider it a specific person's strategy. I think that like with the ICT trading concepts, that is the ICT trading concepts, right? And when you start to make it your strategy, it's really that you're just refining that. It's really that you're just like taking that strategy and making it work for you because everyone out there is going to have a different strategy that sort of aligns with that. If you trade ICT trading concepts, of course. Like if you have more capital, if you're trading on live and not funded, if you're trading different indexes, if you're trading GBP, USD, if you're trading this guy, if you're trading the pound versus the dollar, if you're trading silver, if you're trading, micros or minis, that's even going to be different. It's like, and all of these external factors are going to play into your strategy. Like I I I am a beginner. I'm very new at this. This is my third month trading. Um, and it's like, I think I've figured out what the ICT trading concept strategy is. Now it's time to refine. Now it's time to like, okay, now I understand what I'm looking for. Now I'm going to understand what is the best probability of what that looks like. And at the same time, I know I'm not going to get A plus like we had today every single day. So I need to work on my discretion, get my reps in, back test, test the strategy over and over again, compare it to other months, like right now in April. The best thing that I could do, go back to previous April months and back test those. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's that's what I did. That's what I could do better. Refine, close the profit gap. Like I really think I could have I don't want to just say like extend the take profit. I don't think that that's really necessarily how I'm going to fill this profit gap. I mean, that's definitely a way of doing it, but as of where I'm at right now, I'm really trying to pass this funded. I know that if I pass, oh man, I don't like saying this because it's like it's literally like setting up for like the biggest fuck you Blaze ever. But no one's watching these anyway. It's just for me and it's already in my head. I should contextualize this. I really think that if I pass this funded, if I pass my first funded ever, the amount of confidence that that would give me would be fucking generational. I mean, seriously, dude, that would like really, really put something into my brain where it's like, okay, I got some potential here. Um, I guess we're in the rambling portion of today's video. Yeah, sorry about not uploading for like forever. Um, I feel like I've kind of hopped off the horse. I feel like in January um and in February kind of I was very very disciplined. I know I want to change that. I was very motivated, which is like how I feel about motivation. I hear a lot of people on the internet say that motivation will never take you as far as discipline. And I do believe that. However, I feel like motivation isn't something that we should just like ignore and just throw out the window and not like consider. It's like, how do I say this? It's like with working out, right? Discipline equals like consistency. It's sticking to your workout split. Um you know, it's giving 110% effort every day. It's doing the actual thing. But motivation is like supplements and peptides and MK677. That's what I see as like motivation. And it's like when you get those shots of motivation, run with them, man. Don't ignore it. Let it run its course. Let it go. And maintain discipline the whole time. It's like motivation will not take you as far as discipline. However, when motivation and discipline are running at the same time, motivation is going to trump what discipline can do. Over the grand scheme of things, discipline will 10 times trump motivation. It's like over the long term, this is discipline, this is motivation. But on the day to day, this is motivation, this is discipline. It's just the fact that we know we can stack discipline infinitely, that discipline will be taking you farther. And that's my 2 cents about discipline and motivation. I think that like during the month of March, I stayed very disciplined. I smoke that gas, if you know what I'm talking about. But I have made it a rule that I need to finish all of my work for the day. And typically, if it's kind of a busier day or the next day you need to be doing something, only smoke only inhale at night. That's something that I've been doing. I have literally not missed a day. Actually, I have missed a day. I've missed 2 days with the aspirations. However, I did it twice the next day. There has not been a day that I haven't done that. On top of the fact that I just got this new book, and I have been reading it every single day. Um, that's staying disciplined. It's, you know, keeping up with the notes. I'm still taking notes every day. That's the discipline. But like right now, I've noticed that I'm falling behind. Maybe a shot of motivation is going to help me pass through and break all-time highs with my S&P me. Do you see what did you see how I just put it all together there? Did you see this? Did you just see the brain work together? Okay. I think that is a great place to end it off today. Oh, one more thing. I benched 225 today at the gym. Just like no warm up, no pre, you know, just like oh, getting big. Today's a fucking good day, man. Today's a great day. Anyway, I am going to end this. I'm gonna upload all those videos. Oh, jankies. Oh, jankies. What are we doing here? Oh, wait. And oh, I shared it to the wrong thing. Oh, I hope y'all could see that. Oh, I hope y'all could see that. I hope y'all could see that. Anyway, I gotta get the hell out of here. I got work to do. I will see y'all later. I will see y'all tomorrow, hopefully. If we take a trade, if we take a loss, if we take a win, who knows? I only don't post break even days. That's the only thing I don't post. So unless I have something to say. So that'll be it, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.